Hey everyone, David C. Anderson coming at you from the Knife Center, and it's our favorite time of the week. The coolest new knives that have just hit our shelves are on the table in front of me, including the return of some fan favorites. Let's check them out. I think the big news this week, in addition to some cool new models, is we've got several restocks of some favorite exclusive knives here at the Knife Center that have landed in the last 2 weeks. We didn't have a new Knives of the Week video last week, of course, because Thomas and Seth and I were at SHOT Show in Las Vegas. Very busy. We're still a little bedraggled at the time we're filming this because we didn't stop moving there. And if you want to check out all of those videos that we did film, there's a playlist. I'll leave a link to that either here or down there or wherever the YouTube gods say they should go these days. So that said, let's get into it. First knife right now is the CIVIVI Vision FG in our exclusive carbon fiber, and that's full carbon fiber handles, not a laminate, with S35 VN upgraded blade steel, coming in at a price of about $139. In my opinion, and this is not even a biased opinion, I would be saying this no matter where this existed, this is the best version of the CIVIVI Vision FG that's out there. The steel is more premium, the handles are very, very nice, and the price is not too inflated over the base models either. I mean, it is a fair bit more expensive than the least expensive version, but you are getting a lot, I think, to justify the price. But anyway, S35 VN steel, just over 3.5 inches long with this modified Wharncliffe shape. Nice amount of drop to the edge from the handle combined with the angle of the handle means this is a great knife for working on surfaces, whether that surface is a cutting board, cutting mat, working on a surface in a workshop, what have you. It's going to work quite nicely. You've got the Snex Superlock here, that dorsal style fin on the end, giving you that dorsal style lock action, which is finger safe closing, which is quite nice, ambidextrous, fidgety, fun to flip. What more do you want to know? Reversible deep carry pocket clip, works on either side. In fact, the whole knife is a great lefty or righty carry, and plenty of grip to hold on to the knife for heavier work, yet an aesthetic which feels a bit higher end, feels a bit nicer. There's a reason this has been bought and sold out several times over the course of this. I think it's the third time we've been able to order them from CIVIVI. Who knows whether it will continue? I do not at this point. It depends on how quickly these sell out. So check it out if you are so inclined. Next up, we have a huge selection of the Enrique Peña X Series Cobra frame locks. These are all, I think all of them actually, at $274. And when I say all, we have 9 different variants on the side. Oh, there are a couple that are $294, it looks like. Those come with black coated frames and or blades. But yeah, it looks like all the other ones are at $274 at the moment. That's pretty cool. This one has fragged titanium inlays. These are actual inlays, front and back. There are also carbon fiber, looks like fat carbon, micarta inlays, bunch of different stuff to check out. So do check it out in the link below. M4 blade steel, very, very tough. Holds an edge quite well also, but is not a stainless steel, so keep it clean, eh? 3¼ inches long on that drop point. Built a little bit on the tougher side overall, yet still a slim knife to carry, or a not bulky knife to carry, I should say. It's not super slim, but woo, it's dropped it there. But it is not. It's not going to weigh your pockets down. The pocket clip, speaking of, is very nicely done, milled with a nice lip there at the front, screwed from the inside, so nice and clean looking as well. Flipping action. Ball bearings in the pivot, of course, flips great. These are made by Riot, so it is world-class quality, as you would expect. Next up, we have the MKM Pocket Tango, my first production design collaboration, the exclusive versions with red burlap micarta on the Nessmuck and Lamb's Foot blades, back in stock now as well. Very, very cool. Magna cut blades on these, a little bit under 3 inches. 3.5 finger grips for most folks, I would say, but you can kind of choke up and get a good gorilla grip on it when you need to. Angled handle here, so the tip points down. That makes it real easy to use that tip, especially on a short knife like this. Also makes it easier to resheath in the pocket sheath. This one's a fresh one, so it's gonna need a little bit of breaking in. But easier to resheath in your pocket because it takes less of an angle to point down, and then it kicks out of the way, stays out of the way when you need to reach into your pocket past it. Magnetic pocket sheath, if you aren't familiar with these. Slip the knife into your pocket, flip the flap down, and it holds it in place quite nicely. Perfectly ambidextrous sheath as well, so it works for lefties or righties, no problem at all. The Nestmug blade is my personal favorite, but hey, you know, I'm a sucker for a Nestmug after all. And the lamb's foot style blade, or reverse Tonto, or modified Warncliffe, or whatever we are calling it these days, is right here. These are coming in just under 170 bucks. This one right here, maybe a bit more of utility focus, a bit more of a piercing focus. If you appreciate a finer piercing tip, this one's gonna be a little bit finer overall. Check them out. We do still have the sheep's foot version in stock as well, the sort of straight razor-esque, cleaver-esque one. You can check that out if you wish. Next up, keeping the small fixed blade thing going. Pardon me, magnets. We have the Knafs Lander 4 is in stock, and there's 2 blade shapes, each sitting at 2 distinct price points here. The first with the drop point, that kind of classic Lander drop point. So what do you think of like Knafs, such a new company, having a classic shape at this point? But they've been consistent, what can I say? 2.6 inches long, 14C 28N blade steel, good stuff from Sandvik. This is coming in at 65 bucks with a micarta handle, brass style bead right here, and the nice fob. And that fob there is gonna give you kind of the 4th finger grip here. Depending on your hand size, you may get a little more fingerage on the handle, but for me it is a distinctly 3-finger grip, but that 4th finger gives you a little bit more to hold on to, a little bit more security from slipping or various compromised holds. It's going to help you out a little bit. Stays nice and slim. This is overall a quite slim knife. The sheath is right here. It's Kydex, or Bolteron actually, I should say. Comes with a horizontal belt loop attached to it. If you would like to carry it some other way, I'm going to guess, but I don't have to guess, that a large tech lock will fit it. Yes, indeed it will. The knife is slim enough and the sheath is small enough. You could pocket carry this. You are going to need to supply a different bit of hardware, however, like an ulti clip or some other type of belt or in-pocket clip. If you want to carry it that way, however. But it's pretty nice. It's a good price too at that $65 point. The other version, so this is the Moondust version, I should say, and this is the Black Sheep version. Black linen micarta as opposed to the canvas micarta of the other version, and a sheep's foot style blade, S35 VN steel on this one, so big bump in edge retention, about 120 for this. Otherwise, specs are pretty much the same. If you do a lot of box cutting or general utility, like using that tip to score through things, this one might be a better blade shape for you, whereas the drop point is maybe a bit more general purpose overall, but the edge retention of that S35 VN is certainly a nice thing to consider. Actually, one thing I just noticed, oh, that's funny. Ha! On the front of these two, at least, the hardware there is aligned. The straight lines are both horizontal, like pointing along the axis of the blade. The backside, they are not. That'd have been cool if both sides were lined up like that. But it makes me think that was maybe more of an accident than intentional, but it's pretty fun. Next up, from the boys at Boker, well, the boys at the Dutch Bushcraft Brothers channel, and the fellas at Boker. We'll say fellas. Sure, why not?
German.
Fellas can be, Germans. And fellas can encompass all of humanity sometimes, right?
Sure.
Anyway, this is the Bushfriend 2000. If you're unfamiliar with the Dutch Bushcraft knives, as I stumble over everything, their channel, they do a lot of extreme testing and testing things to the point of failure. It's a very entertaining channel. You should check it out. This is their take on combining the elements they like in a general purpose bushcraft or field knife the way they want to see it. And this thing gives me a lot of smiles. The price is good at about 136 bucks for this knife. It is made in Solingen in Germany, so for that, that type of construction, or the type of construction you get here, made there at this price, that there's pretty good. Let's go with that there. But it's the small details that set this thing apart. From profile, it doesn't look revolutionary, and it's certainly not, but every small detail here is done right. It's done the way I like to see it. And it really shows that those folks aren't, the Dutch Bushcraft channel is not just goofing off and breaking knives in the woods. They're actually really paying attention to what works. And this right here works. We have a 4.33 inch drop point blade, 80 CRV2. It's an Austrian-made high toughness carbon steel, which is excellent for something that is going to be beat on mercilessly, such as this, as opposed to a Scandi grind, which a lot of Bushcraft knives tend to gravitate towards. They went with a high flat grind here, which is going to be a little more general purpose. Maybe not as friendly and aggressive at wood carving as a Scandi grind can be, but a little friendlier at everything else at the same time. We're looking at about 1/8 of an inch thick on the blade, so a good amount of thickness there to take advantage of the toughness of the blade steel without it getting not slicey enough. Crisp spine for striking a fire steel, but the handle is, I spent a lot of time on the blade. The handle is where it really comes together. You got black Richlite, which feels very good. The contours of the handle, the swells, fit my hand exceptionally well. Really nicely finished, full tang all around. Well-considered details. Even this small angle here at the front, as opposed to going, just with like a flat shelf right here, it's going to make it easier into the sheath, which is also well considered and nicely done. Black leather here, square bottom end. You've got a dangler. You've got a fire steel loop. It's going to sit in about like so. I suppose I could put it in, huh? Sits in about like so. The dangler's nice for keeping it out of the way while you're sitting down or wearing a bulky pack with a hip strap. This thing is wonderful. Yeah, there's not a single thing I would change about the design. It's just going to work exceptionally well. And given that it's built as well as it is, at the price it is, top recommendation. Love it. Next up, the CRKT M16s. We saw the largest version, or the largest of the new versions of this knife a couple weeks ago, but we've got, on a knife that introduced the production knife world to the flipper tab, we have a non-flipper M16 with a crossbar lock. It's a first for CRKT, this crossbar lock, and it's the first time the M16 has been without a flipper tab. The big version, about a 4-inch blade, that's the M16 14XD, like 85 bucks. This one, we're starting at about 68. We've got the M16 02X, 3.11-inch D2 Tanto blade, as you can see right here. And the action works very good. It's exactly how you would like it to be. Good tactical EDC. If you want a little more reach and a little more piercing precision, you've got the M16 03XK, 3.6-inch blade, also D2, about 75 bucks. What more do you want to know? It's the classic M16. It's a tactical icon for sure. Updated for everyone's, well, I'd say everyone's favorite lock. One of my favorite locks anyway. And certainly a lock that's seeing a lot of development and traction in the marketplace. Very cool. Check them out. They're in stock now. Next up, the Ballista 2 from Hogue. This one is part of their collector series, so it's a bit of a higher end spec. We have a two-tone magna cut blade, 2.6 inches, aluminum handles, carbon fiber inlays, blue pivot ring. Really cool little dagger-like shape, although it is single-edged, I should mention that. About 240 bucks for this. Deep carry pocket clip, which is quite nice. It's all quite nice. Hogue, made in the USA. The action is very good. It's very good indeed. This is one of those where, when you're holding it like this, you're going to know which direction the blade is coming out, but the shape overall is pretty symmetrical, so just know which way you're holding the knife. You're not going to know kind of without looking down at it. Yeah, it feels the same either direction, except for the pocket clip. That's going to be your clue probably. Knife safety. Practice it. Thank me later. Yeah, cool little EDC. It's ostensibly tactical, but it's a small knife. Make a great little everyday carry, I think. Keeping the tactical stuff rolling, new exclusive, the large Little Evil Fighter from Work Tough Gear, designed by Zeke Bonacho. Here it is. New versions of this are here. $245 for these, and these are chunky in all the right ways. If you like a knife with a big handle, this has got plenty of grip for you. The blade itself is a bit over 7 inches long. We've got K329, a very tough tool steel here with this cool kind of wickedly curved shape. Vaguely Kukri-esque, but it is more straight. It's not a Kukri. It's more just a big recurve, quite honestly. Thomas knows what I'm about to say. They call it a modified Tanto on the website.
Attaboy.
Zeke, you and I are gonna have to talk one of these days, buddy. I don't care what you call it. It's a cool blade, isn't it? I think so. But yeah, it's gonna move with you. It's gonna hit pretty hard. You know, for me, I'm not a tactical guy. Would I use this in an outdoor scenario? This type of blade might not be my first choice, but it's not so wild that it would prevent me from doing what I need to do in that kind of situation. Now, the interesting thing about this version versus versions of this we've had in the past is you're still flat ground here, but instead of just coming in with a secondary bevel that is convexed, they've actually convexed down to 0. Not like a full height, like I can still sense a little bit of flat up here, but from about there down, it's convexed right down to 0. The way you might see you know, an edge on like a Feldknieven or a Bark River or something like that, which is just a cool new spin on this blade. It is tough in harder use, like chopping scenarios. Think of, you know, there's a reason axe heads have that type of grind. They're hitting real hard, and that type of grind is really supportive of heavy work. So that's very cool also. The sheath is Kydex. It's right here. Sorry. It comes with a small carrier with a nylon belt loop. So that's going to be the carry method here. Let me just check the tech lock, or the CIVIVI T-clip that I've got here in this case. Yep, you can use one of those right here if you want to rig it up in some other way. There you go. Also in the big tactical curvy fixed blade section of this video, which is where we are, the exclusive Kukri from RMJ Tactical. The orange and black G10 is our exclusive touch on this one. So it's just a color change. We have some other versions of this in stock right now as well if you don't like the orange and black. But for 550 bucks, you've got this US made knife, 80 CRV2 on this as well, just like we saw on that Boker earlier. Blade itself, 10.5 inches long with that downward canted Kukri, which just hits. It's very, very hard. It's designed to hack and slash, and it's going to do that quite well. Everything about it feels exactly as spot on as we expect from RMJ. It's got their signature touches, not a machining line out of place. There are machining lines, but they're there on purpose. That's just part of their style. Yeah, real cool to see these back in stock again. The sheath is Kydex with a spine draw right here. Comes with 2 belt straps, each with a pull the dot snap, so it's only going to come loose in the one direction. Keeps it from accidentally snagging and pulling off when you go this way. The retention loop from the spine retention loop also has a pull the dot snap as well. Now we've entered the smaller section of the curvy tactical blade section of the video. The Heretic, I don't know why that makes me smile, but laugh, but hey, what are you gonna do? The Stabnana is back from Heretic Knives. 2 versions. We do have our Underripe Stabnana exclusive right here. These are coming in a little bit under that $500 point. 3.2 inch blade, magna cut steel. New switch on these. I believe the previous ones were black. These are now more stem colored, or brown in this case. But you've got that cool hawkbill OTF thing, which is just so standalone, so iconic, or maybe iconic's the wrong word, but like so noteworthy. I almost said so unique, but it's either unique or it isn't. It's pretty cool. Very, very cool indeed. These are limited, of course. Actually, both of these are technically limited. The freshly peeled Stabnana is the new version. The original Stabnana had a black coated blade, but now you've got the same banana colored blade that was originally introduced on our Underripe version, it should be noted. We said, hey, can you make the blade actually look like a banana too? They're like, yeah, I guess so. And here we are. And here is this version now. Magna cut steel, 3.2 inch blade, hawkbill, wicked awesome. Limited. What more do you want to know? Get them get them before they turn brown, as we said the last time they were in stock. All right, a few more to round things off today. We're trying to keep it moving. We have a new Byrd knife from Spyderco. This is the Gooney, which, check out that blade. This is one of the first blades in a long time from the Byrd lineup that actually looks like a bird beak. 56 bucks and some change for this. You've got gray G10 handles. Steel is 9CR, so it's an upgrade from the 8CR that many of the Byrd models currently use. So improved edge retention on this, something akin to like 440C, which is still very capable stuff. And at that $50 price point is very nice. And Classic Spyderco styling. You've got the lock back there, mid-mounted with that David Boyd dent. You've got a 4-position pocket clip so anyone can carry it. You've got that finger choil, finger groove area around the pivot for choking up. And you've got the wide opening hole, which is elongated into sort of the bird's eye or comet in the Byrd lineup, of course. But fit and finish is excellent. That wicked S-curve to the blade actually provides a lot of extra cutting power. Not only do you have extra sharpened length in the actual sharpened length, you get more edge. Because it's shaped like this, it's essentially like one big wavy serration. Start the cut back here, pull through, it's got to work its way through this hump and then get captured in the recurve up here, both providing a little bit of extra aggression on the pull cut especially. So that's pretty cool. If what you do involves a lot of that type of cutting motion, this could be a really nice knife. The hawkbill type on the end is great for getting under things like zip ties, popping those loose. It's just a really utilitarian blade shape despite the funky overall thing. It's something that could be very, very useful, especially if what you're doing, you could take advantage of it. Rounding things out, we've got 3 knives with a slip joint look, but only one of them is a slip joint. New Finch Knife Company release. This is the Frog Leg. This is the Sun-Kissed version with sun-kissed ox bone handles. That really cool yellow. I'm always a fan of yellow on knives. Maybe it goes back to like old yellow Delrin slip joints that I have such a soft spot for. About $149 for this. 3.1 inch clip point blade, 154 cm with a 2-tone finish. Satin flats and stone washed grinds. Satin stainless steel bolsters, integral bolsters, and then the inlays, of course. No Finch shield on this one, so you don't get that little glow-in-the-dark shield. But this is a frame lock flipper as opposed to a classic slip joint. So you get modern convenience, modern safety, and the modern utility of that pocket clip as well. Flipping action is very good. Blade length is very good for EDC as well. Solid lockup, just enough of a finger guard there to keep you from slipping forward without it being so big that it gets in the way. Really cool thing indeed. Next up, we have the After Hours Jack from Jack Wolf Knives. $350 for this one with the Kieranite, it is a Kieranite, tortoiseshell style Kieranite inlays and S90V blade steel. 3.15 inches long, full height hollow grind on that S90V, which is really cool. So the geometry right behind the edge is very, very thin, and S90V is going to give you a ton of edge retention. But as you can see from the back here, not a slip joint either. You have the bolster style frame lock right here and a milled pocket clip screwed in from the inside. And this is a front flipper. Oh no, oh no. Actually, I like doing the reverse flick a lot better personally. Thanks to the long dual fuller on each side, you can do that. You can also do a standard slow roll, but that reverse flick is very nice. Let me try the front flip. I haven't done it yet. It's my nemesis. All right, okay, it's doable. I gotta think about this one a little more than some perhaps, but as we all know, front flippers have never been my strong suit. Thank you for the flipper there, Ben Belkin, brand founder. Appreciate that. Wicked knife. Few versions of this are still available. This came out the Friday before we left for SHOT Show, so I didn't have a chance to talk about it then. We've got Dark Matter Red Fat Carbon as another handle inlay, and of course the custom graphics for each release on the aluminum tube. For the After Hours Jack, you got a drink and a cigar. Inside you've got a cleaning rag, you've got a collectible pog, you've got a pocket slip, the works, as you'd expect. Last but not least, the RoseCraft Cockleburr Creek Trapper. Here it is. The Jack Wolf stuff there is very nice. As I go back to that real quick, realize I didn't mention, like, the cool thing about these Jack Wolves is as expensive as they are, the fit and finish on it is exceptionally good. RoseCraft also, especially given its price, is exceptionally impressive given the fit and finish you get. This is coming in just $62. You got 3 1/4 inch D2 blades that are very finely finished. Not as finely as the $300+ Jack Wolf, don't get me wrong, but way better than any other slip joints in this price range at any point in the market, quite honestly. But they're just very, very good. Super smooth, no pins are sticking proud. The blades are nice and sharp. The edges are not rough. The tips aren't rounded over, none of that sort of thing. It is just perfect. Like, it's literally a perfect spot on slip joint for not too much over that $50 point, which is very cool. And it offers more edge retention than most slip joints in this price range as well with that D2 tool steel. check them out. If you don't like the Trapper, I like a Trapper. If you don't like the Trapper, any of RoseCraft's slip joints, I'd be able to say the same thing about. So check them out. They got a really cool moose pattern too that I'm a big fan of. Anyway, that's all I've got for right now, folks. Thanks for sticking with us. Thanks for checking out all our SHOT Show footage last week. As I said, if you didn't see that yet, check out the link to the playlist that we left earlier, either up there or down there or wherever. If you want to get your hands on any of these knives, check out the links in the description, which will take you to KnifeCenter.com. If some of these knives are just a little bit beyond your reach and you want to break up payments into more manageable chunks, check out our Sezzle payment options. And don't forget about our Knife Rewards program that'll give you some free money to spend on your future knives. I'm David C. Anderson from the Knife Center. That's Thomas behind the camera, and we are signing off. See you next time.